Hello, my name is Megan Thomas and I am a master's student at the University of Calgary studying Community Health Sciences. Today, I will be presenting my proposed research titled Developing Guidance on Preference-Based Methods in Clinical Trials to Value Health Outcomes in Rheumatic Diseases. Please enjoy this short video explaining my project and the research I will be doing this year. Let's talk about patient preferences in randomized controlled trials. To begin, we must first consider what is a preference. A preference is defined as a greater liking for one alternative over another or others. In a healthcare context, a preference can be expressed by a patient regarding the treatment and care they receive. In other words, a patient can express a greater liking for one treatment option over another. The concept of patient preferences is centered around the notion that patients have insight to the experience of their health condition, and their preferences need to be valued when making any treatment decision. There are many considerations for a patient when making a treatment decision, each with different trade-offs for the patient. A patient may wonder about the safety of a treatment, whether a treatment will help them get better, whether a treatment has certain side effects, and the overall compatibility of a treatment with their lifestyle. Ultimately, there are many questions a patient may have regarding a treatment, and their treatment choice should be aligned with their preferences. Luckily, there are already ways to measure patient preferences. Preference-based methods are defined as a way to quantify patient preferences by adding a value weight to the relevant trade-offs. In a stated preference method, such as a discrete choice experiment, individuals are asked to state, rank, or rate their choice over sets of hypothetical alternatives. Let's look at an example of how a preference-based method can elicit preferences. You're trying to buy a new phone. What matters most to you? Is it the battery life? The camera quality? The cost? Would you be willing to trade off one of these for another? These different variables are called attributes. In a discrete choice experiment, the researcher tries to determine which of these attributes are most important to a participant by showing them multiple scenarios. By doing this, the relative importance of each attribute can be calculated. Now, let's consider this in a healthcare context. You are a patient with rheumatoid arthritis who has high disease activity. You are presented with two hypothetical treatment options. The first treatment is an injection and has a high chance of improving your health quickly, but also presents a high risk of a major side effect. The second treatment is in pill form, has a lower risk of a major side effect, but also has a lower chance of improving your health quickly. In this case, the attributes are the risks, benefits, and treatment delivery. Once again, in a discrete choice experiment, the researcher would try to determine which of these attributes are most important to a participant by showing them multiple scenarios. And by doing this, the relative importance of each attribute can be calculated. Ultimately, these methods can be used to provide us with valuable information on patient preferences. We have discussed the importance of patient preferences and how to elicit these preferences using preference-based methods. So where is the gap? To understand this, we must look at the process of a clinical trial, starting from the trial design stage to the interpretation of trial results, which directly impact the types of treatments that are recommended to patients and can affect their day-to-day lives. There is a growing interest in the use of quantitative preference-based methods in healthcare evaluation. Preference-based methods have been most applied in the interpretation stage of a trial, that is, after the trial has been conducted and the evidence collected. However, there are critical decisions when designing clinical trials, where the evaluation of patient preferences may lead to improvements in how evidence is generated. The aim of my research is to understand the use of preference-based methods in the evidence continuum of clinical trials within rheumatology. How should preference-based methods be used? Who should be involved when using these methods in clinical trials? And when should preference-based methods be used in the process of a clinical trial? These are all questions I hope to address throughout my research. To help answer these questions, I will be collaborating with an organization called OMERACT, or Outcome Measures in Rheumatology. Within this collaboration, I will be working with a team of patient partners, clinicians, and researchers to consider how preference-based methods can be applied to clinical trials in rheumatology. The first phase of our research is a review of the literature to see how preference-based methods have been applied to clinical trials. This scoping review will follow the Joanna Briggs Institute method to answer the question, how have preference-based methods been applied to clinical trials in order to value health trade-offs? Next, we will be conducting semi-structured interviews with various stakeholders, including patients, clinicians, and researchers, to explore the perceptions of preference-based methods in the process of evidence generation for clinical trials. By collaborating with different stakeholder groups, we envision being able to understand how, when, and with whom preference-based methods should be used in the evidence continuum of clinical trials. From our cumulative findings, we will write a guidance document on how and when to incorporate patient preferences in clinical trials to ideally be used by researchers when designing clinical trials. So why is this project significant? Well, this project is the first step towards empowering patients to have a role in their own care by ensuring patient preferences are at the forefront of clinical trials. This project will collect evidence to inform the development of guidance for preference-based methods in clinical trials. We will mobilize stakeholder partnerships to develop and conduct a patient-oriented research project. And finally, though this research is defined within rheumatology, the knowledge gained from this project could be applicable to other fields as well. Thank you all for your time. I hope you enjoyed this presentation.